Welcome everybody to the Sensitive Empowerment Community Gentle Yoga. My name is Christie Rosen and I will be your yoga teacher for today. I am a yoga teacher, a wellness coach, and an author. I wrote a book called Empowering the Sensitive Soul, and all of my work focuses on highly sensitive people. So I've taught yoga for over a decade, and I was teaching a lot of public classes to all kinds of people, but I found that my favorite people to work with were highly sensitive people. And I am also highly sensitive. So I understand all about sensitivity. And the pandemic kind of gave me a great opportunity to tailor my yoga to highly sensitive people through Zoom. So I'm glad to be here today. So we're going to get started lying down on our backs. So you can lie down. I'm going to sit for a little while, but you can lie down just right on your back, and you can either extend your legs and have your arms out to the sides in what we call Shavasana posture. Or if that doesn't feel comfortable on your low back, you could lie down with your knees bent, your feet flat, and your knees knocked together. So I'll just show you that for a moment. So either lying down on your back, legs extended, or you could have those knees bent, feet out a little bit wider than hip distance, maybe as wide as the mat, and then the knees would drop together. And if you have anything with you that helps you to be cozy, like a blanket, or you might want a little pillow under your head, allow yourself anything that will help you feel more calm, more comfortable in this moment. So if it feels comfortable to you, you can go ahead and close your eyes. And we're going to bring the hands right up onto the chest. So you could put one hand on top of the other, or you could put one hand next to the other hand. And just begin to find your breath. So we're going to focus on grounding our sensitive nervous systems today. And grounding, really, what it means to me is really feeling at home in your body, feeling at home on the earth, and feeling stable and relaxed. When we're not grounded, we're more likely to feel stress and anxiety and to overthink, more likely to have trouble sleeping. And so as highly sensitive people who are often sensitive to stress and have some of these issues, it's really helpful to focus on grounding. So that's what we're doing today. So the first thing we're going to do is really connect the breath with the body and the movement. So what you're going to do is on an inhale, you're going to take your hands and move them out to the sides. So you're taking your hands off of your chest and opening your arms out as much as you like. You can go a little bit or a lot. And as you exhale, you're going to bring your hands back to your heart. So follow your own breath cycle with this. So take your time as you inhale and open your hands out. And exhale and slowly bring your hands back to your heart. So continuing with that at your own pace, let it be gentle. And if you find that you'd rather just have your arms resting by your sides, you can choose that instead. Otherwise, continuing with this movement, you can think of it, I love butterflies. So I like to think about it as like butterfly wings, or maybe a type of bird that you like. Opening your wings out on the inhale. And on the exhale, bringing the hands back in. So continuing like that. Letting it be easy. If it feels like it's too difficult, just release your arms at any time. So the practice of yoga in general is very grounding, and we're going to make it extra grounding by specifically focusing on postures that are close to the ground, really emphasizing the connection with the breath, and really becoming even more focused on the body. So inhabiting our bodies. So a lot of times if we're feeling stress and anxiety, we get kind of stuck up in the mind. And there's actually research to show, there's an interesting study from the University of Toronto that actually shows that the more present you are in your body, the less you overthink and the less kind of stuck up in the mind you can be. So sometimes we're trying to work with our thoughts, with more thoughts, which can sometimes be helpful, but sometimes what we need is just to get back into the body. So that's what we're going to do. So continuing with that breath, if you feel comfortable, we'll take 2 or 3 more breaths with this. Inhaling to open and exhaling to bring back. And then when you feel complete with that, go ahead and bring your palms together and place your thumb knuckles to the center of your forehead. And just take this moment to set an intention for your practice. So any intention that you feel serves you. If you're not sure, you could have the intention just to be grounded in your body. And then you can release your hands from your forehead. We're going to bend the knees if they're not already bent, and start to draw the knees into the chest. So you bring the knees in, give them a little squeeze and rock, just a little bit side to side. And then take your hands to either knee, so left hand on left knee, right hand on right knee. On an inhale, you're going to move your legs away from you and your arms will straighten out. And on an exhale, draw the knees back into the chest, pulling the knees in as much as you can. That feels comfortable. So again, moving with our breath here. So inhale, knees go out. And exhale, legs come in. Inhale, knees go out. And exhale, draw the knees in. One more time like that. Inhale, legs move away, arms extend. Exhale, draw the knees in. And then let's take the knees over to the left. So you're going to drop your knees over to the left. Coming into a spinal twist, you can inhale the right arm up to the sky. And as you exhale, start to open the right arm out to the right. You don't need to rest that right shoulder on the mat. It probably won't reach. That's okay. But if it feels uncomfortable, go ahead and bend the right elbow. You could bend the right elbow and just place the right hand on the right side of the body. And then it's your choice. You can look left, you could look up, or for the deepest stretch, you could twist and look over your right shoulder. If you do that, just make sure that it feels okay on your neck. You want to be very gentle with your whole body, but especially your neck. I generally like to just look up in this pose. Feels good to me. And then as you're here, see if you can connect back in with your breath. And also connect with where you are touching the ground. So see if you can feel your breath and feel your body on the ground at the same time. So maybe you're feeling your left outer leg. Maybe you're feeling your left arm, upper arm, the back of the head. Maybe you're feeling your right elbow or right arm, your left foot, or maybe both feet. And all that you need to do here is feel the breath and feel the body. It's simple, but it's not always easy because we're not always used to being focused and being focused on the body. So you just do your best and you take really good care of yourself. So anytime if we do anything that doesn't feel right to you, then you don't do it. And that's totally fine and encouraged. Good. So we're going to start to come back to center, so you can bring your legs back to center and give your knees a squeeze into your chest. Once more. One time, inhale, take the legs out, arms straighten. And then exhale, draw the knees in. And then we'll take the knees over to the right. So both knees will drop over to the right. You might rest your right hand on your left thigh for a little bit of support, and then the left arm can reach up to the ceiling on an inhale. When you next exhale, extend your left arm out to the left and choose your gaze. You can look to the left, you can look up, or you could even look right if your neck feels most comfortable there. And then right away, drop into the pose. Feel yourself against the ground. Feel your breath. So in yoga, we generally breathe in and out through the nose. Sometimes I'll have you breathe out through the mouth. But otherwise, if you're not given the cue, it's just in and out through the nose. And especially when we're being more gentle and relaxed, focusing on a longer exhale than inhale helps to relax the nervous system. So remembering your breath. If you've lost the attention on it, that's okay. You just come back to the breath when you remember and feel the body. Maybe you feel that outer right leg, excuse me, your outer right hip, the right side of the body, the back of the head, really feeling your body held. So unless we're jumping up into the air, we're always touching the earth. Or touching something. So if we lay on a bed or sitting on a couch without our feet on the ground, we're still touching something. So we're always held. I find that kind of comforting to remember. Something is always holding me. And of course, grounding by going out in nature is a really amazing way to ground, but you don't need nature. You can ground through the space that you are in and through connecting to your body. Good, so take another couple of breaths. Noticing if you're clenching in your jaw or tightening anywhere that you really don't need to, and see if you can relax. And then we'll start to move back to center. One more time, draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug and appreciate yourself for taking this time today to come to your yoga mat and take care of your body and your mind. Good, so from here, you can roll over to one side and we'll just press up to a seated position. You're gonna come up to sit and we're gonna bring the bottoms of the feet together and the knees out to the sides. If you have a little blanket to sit up on, sometimes that's nice to support you in your forward fold that we're about to do in a moment, but it's okay if you don't have anything. So feet together, sit up as tall as you can. And then start to fold forward. You're gonna kind of fold with a flat back, so you wanna keep your chest lifted. What we wanna avoid doing is like rounding backwards like this. So if you can't go very far forward, you just tip a little bit. If you're a bit more open, you could tip further, or you could even come down even all the way to your forearms, or you could rest your head down, but anywhere that feels comfortable is where you wanna be. You don't wanna go too far, especially too soon. And then while we're sort of trying to keep more or less a flat back, it's not going to be totally flat. And when you go into the depth that you feel comfortable with, you can start to drop your head, and that's going to round in your cervical spine. So you're going to round a bit here, but we don't want to feel like we're going backwards. If you feel like you're going backwards, that would be a good reason to sit up on a prop, like a blanket. But even just a little bit forward is good. And then see if your hands are on your feet, or if your hands are on the mat, see if you can feel your connection to the ground below you through your hands, or through your hands through your body. So either way. And I like to close my eyes. It's kind of up to you. Some people feel more grounded when their eyes are open and they can see the space around them. Some people feel more grounded when their eyes are closed and they really feel into the body more. So when we turn off one sense, and one major sense like sight, it can enhance the other senses. So take a few more breaths here. And feeling your hips, feeling your outer edges of your feet. And then on your next inhale, start to lift back up. Take your time. So we want to move slowly. You can start to turn on to hands and knees. So coming up onto hands and knees. So this is table pose, and you want to have your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees for table pose. So if your hands are forward, bring them back. If your hands and feet are kind of close together, you need to just spread your hands forward. Spread your fingers wide and press down into your knuckles, press down into the tops of the feet. And then on an inhale, we're going to come into cow pose. So you're going to lift your heart, take your head back, and open your chest. And then on an exhale, scoop your belly around your spine, draw your chin into your chest, and come into cat pose. So I like to think of this as like an angry Halloween cat. Again, inhale, come into cow pose, heart lifts, head draws back, collarbone spread, sits bones reaching up and back. And then exhale, press into the hands, rounding the spine, chin to chest, spreading the shoulder blades away. One more time like that. Inhale, heart opens. And exhale to round. From here, coming back to neutral, you'll take your toes together and your knees a little bit wider, and we're going to sit the hips back for child's pose. So for child's pose, you can reach your arms forward. Maybe if your head reaches, it's really nice to drop your forehead down, sinking your hips in the direction of your heels. If your forehead doesn't reach, but you could stack your hands either one on top of the other, or your hands could stack into fists, and that can help you to reach the ground. And we want to really feel that connection to the ground through our forehead. So the forehead resting is a great signal to the nervous system that you're okay, you're safe. We can rest our heads. We can feel more at ease. And so feel that you can feel the earth below you through your hands, through your forehead, through your shins, the tops of the feet. And while you're feeling the earth below you, feel your breath. And then we're gonna add a side stretch to this. So you'll keep your legs in your child's pose and you're gonna walk your hands a little over to the left. So any amount to the left, if you go very far over to the left, that's gonna be a deeper side stretch. If you walk just a little bit, it'll be more of a gentle stretch. So listen to your body for how far you wanna walk to the left. If you can still rest your head, that might be nice, but that's not always accessible. So just listen to your body again with that. And here, start to breathe a little bit more focused into that right side of the body. So your right intercostal muscles along the right ribs. And then go ahead and we'll walk the hands through center. And then any amount over to the right. So moving to the other side and stretching the left side. Again, try to go about as far as the other side, but not too deep. Take your time. You know, as sensitive people, sometimes we can want to please others, and by pleasing others, sometimes in a yoga class, that could look like trying to do everything the teacher says. But what would please me is you taking care of your body and not worrying about what you should be doing, just worrying about what feels okay to you. Good, let's walk the hands back to center. We're gonna come up onto hands and knees again, and your hands will probably be a little bit further forward than they were last time. If they're not, walk them a little bit further forward so your wrists are in front of your shoulders. We're gonna move into down dog. So you'll tuck your toes, lift your knees, and press your hips up and back. You can start with pretty bent knees, especially if you're new to yoga or new to this pose. Go ahead and bend your knees a lot. You want to feel like you're able to work towards straightening out your back. Your hips are reaching up to the sky. Really more like up and back. And then if you feel comfortable here and you can really feel that you're pressing into your hands, pushing your hands, almost like feeling like you're trying to push the mat away from you with your hands, although you're not going to. If you feel comfortable, you can start to straighten out the legs any amount. And your head should just be between your arms. I know that sometimes in yoga, we need to look up and see what's going on. But when you're in the pose and you don't need to look around, just keep your ears in line with your arms. And then go ahead and we'll bend the right knee a lot and press down into the left heel, straightening that left leg, stretching the left calf. And then we'll switch, bend into the left knee, straighten out the right heel. This pose definitely can be a lot if your wrists are not feeling so good. So if you needed to come down to hands and knees, that would be totally fine. You could also take a child's pose anytime. Good, you're gonna straighten out your legs again. And then we're gonna just take a little slow walk towards the top of the mat. So walking up to the hands. We're coming into our forward fold, so you can have your knees really bent here. If you're tighter, you'll have your knees bent. If you're more open, you can have your legs straight if that feels comfortable. Just try not to lock out the knees. And then if it feels okay for you, take your hands to your opposite elbows and really let your body, your upper body fold over your lower body. So you can do this with bent knees or straight legs. If your legs are straight, make sure not to hang back into the heels and have the butt going way back. You want to try more or less, it might not be perfect, to get your hips over your heels. And then focus on your exhale here. So these forward folds are really good exhaling poses. They help us relax more. So feel for your exhale.
And you might even take a sigh here, and that would be through the mouth. So I love to take sighs. I feel like they're really good for my nervous system. And we're all on mute, so you have total ability to just exhale it out. So good for your system to let go. And we're going to release the hands from the elbows if they're still there. And inhale, you're going to come up into a flat back. So what we do is bring the hands onto the shins. Try not to lock the knees again. Lift the chest. You can look slightly forward. And on an exhale, start to bow forward again. Your hands are going to frame your feet. And then we're going to slowly lift that left foot up and take the left foot all the way to the back of the mat. I like to move real slow as we do that. You want to step it back about as far as you can. You want to wind up with the right knee just over the right ankle. So if your foot is kind of more to the middle of the mat, you want to step the foot forward, and you can use your hand to step it forward. So your right knee is over your right ankle. Good. From here, drop your left knee down. You're going to take the top of the left foot down, and we're going to drop the head. So you're going to kind of see if you can relax into this lunge. So it's a little different if you're used to practicing than a typical low lunge here. We're really doing this as more of a stretch. So you don't need to hold on too much in your muscles. You can kind of let your inner thighs and your hips relax as you drop your head and stretch. And then feel again your connection to the ground. Feel your bottom of your right foot. Feel the palms if they're on the mat, or feel the fingertips. Feel the left knee and the top of the left foot. And then the head will start to lift, and we're going to start to back the hips up. So we're moving towards what we call half split. So your hips are going to move back, and you can start to lift the bottom of the right foot off of the mat, and the toes will lift up towards the ceiling. You might need to scoot your right heel a little bit further forward here for your half split. If your left knee is feeling a little uncomfortable because we have had the left knee down, you could always double over your mat and rest your left knee on the mat. The extra padded mat, I should say. So stretching into the right hamstrings here. Seeing if you can keep your hips square. Wherever you are, whether you're resting, you're in this pose, or you're doing something else, just find your breath. Allow yourself to take this time to nurture yourself. Good, we're gonna bend back into that right knee. The back knee is gonna lift up. Hands are gonna plant, and we're gonna step the right foot back to meet the left. Drop the knees down, and we're gonna bend the elbows. So you wanna bend the elbows to go straight back behind you and lower all the way down to the belly. From here, come onto your forearms. We're gonna take a Sphinx pose. So you want your elbows right under your shoulders, and you want your arms to be like an 11, so your forearms are parallel. So if your hands look closer together than your elbows, you want to spread the hands out a little bit wider. And then press down into the arms and lift the chest up. If this feels uncomfortable on that low back, you could instead rest in crocodile with one hand on top of the other, the forehead on the hands. That's still a back bend, it's just a very, very slight back bend. If you feel pretty good here in your Sphinx and you want to go deeper, you could press into your hands and start to lift your elbows off of the mat. But as you do that, if your shoulders start to lift up by your ears, relax your shoulders down, keep your elbows a little bit bent. And if it hurts in the low back, you just lower back onto the forearms or all the way to the belly. Take 2 more breaths. Reaching your heart forward, maybe looking up for a moment. And then exhale, we're gonna lower down, one hand on top of the other. Forehead is going to rest on the hands for crocodile pose. And this is a very grounding pose. Sometimes I'll go outside and I'll do this pose and really feel connected to the earth. So you can do this here out on your mat. So feeling your belly now connected to the ground, the tops of the feet. Feeling your palms or one palm, the forehead into your hands. Sensing the gravity that holds you here on the earth. And then feeling your breath. If you feel cozy, stay. Otherwise, let's come back onto the forearms. Staying either on the forearms, remember they're parallel, or lifting the elbows up and coming into that Sphinx pose variation, and cobra pose really, long armed cobra. Relax your shoulders, lift your heart, and feel your breath. Feel your legs on the mat, feel your pelvis. And then if the elbows lifted, let's lower them down. And then one more time, let's all come on to the forehead on the hand. So stacking the hands, and see if you can just stack it with the other hand on top. So the opposite of how you did before. And this time you can bend your knees and sway your legs side to side. And feel like a nice massage for the thighs. Feel good in the low back. Like windshield wiper the knees. And then releasing the legs. You're gonna come onto the hands, press onto hands and knees, and then into your downward dog. In this downward dog, take an inhale through your nose. And an exhale through your mouth. Walk your feet towards the top of the mat. Take your time as you do so. Coming into your forward fold. Inhale, flat back, hands to shins, lift the chest. Belly lifts up. Little micro bend of the knees if they tend to lock. Exhale, folding forward. And then we're going to have the hands come down, and we'll do the other side of the lunge. So right leg is going to slowly step back into your runner's lunge. So left knee directly over the left ankle. Taking a moment to get settled. If the foot is more towards the middle of the mat, you grab a hold of the ankle and you can step it forward that way. And then we'll let the back knee rest. The top of the back foot can rest. And you can drop your head down. You can let go of any, normally in a lunge, we kind of hug everything in so we can lift up. But here today, being more gentle, we're going the opposite way. We're kind of letting those legs relax out to either side, letting the head be heavy, and feeling the connection to the ground through that left foot, through the palms, through the fingertips, back of the right, or the front of the right leg, the shin, the knee, the top of the foot. Feeling the breath. Knowing you're welcome to come out of the pose at any time, otherwise we'll hold it a little bit more. And then starting to lift the head up, you're going to start to move your hips backwards. So that's going to work to straighten out the left leg either all the way or part way. And if you can, lift on to the heel so your toes start to lift up. You could scoot your left foot a little more forward if you need to. And we'll take this half split. So sometimes there's a rounding in the back in this pose. You want to think more about that flat back that we did earlier, lifting the chest. If you don't feel like you need your sight for balance here, you could close your eyes. Another 2 breaths. And this time we're going to bend into the left knee, lift the right knee up. And we're going to step forward. So right foot comes forward. And here we're going to roll up to stand. So you can let your head be heavy as you roll up to stand. Coming all the way up. And just for a moment, you can bring your hands to your hips and lift your chest. Feet about hips width distance. And maybe slightly look up. So feeling kind of like that Superwoman, Superman type pose here. Or even though this isn't technically in yoga, mountain pose, your arms are by your sides. I like to have the hands on the hips and kind of think about the strength of a mountain. The mountain is very grounded and all kinds of things will happen on the mountain. Maybe people will climb up it, or there'll be animals, there'll be all types of weather. But the mountain stays strong. It's kind of like our presence. Our presence is there, strong and stable, while all kinds of other stuff happen in our lives. And as we connect in with our body and our presence, we can feel stronger. You can release your arms down and we'll take one balancing pose. So we'll take tree pose today. So you can balance on your right foot and make a little kickstand with your left foot. That's kind of step 1. If you want to go a little deeper, you can place your left foot on your calf. We're not going to place the foot on the knee because that's not good for the knee joint, but you can place your foot all the way up to the inner thigh if you would like to. So kind of anywhere on the leg besides the knee. And maybe you bring your hands to your hips again if that felt good. Find a little point to focus your gaze. Usually looking at something that's moving is one of the worst things. You want to look at something that's very stable. And then imagine you had like roots, tree roots from the bottom of your foot going all the way down into the earth. Feel your stability. You could definitely use a wall to assist you in your balance. And don't worry if you come in and out of it. That's part of the practice, is just to experience the act of balancing. There is no balance. I think sometimes we're always trying to be balanced, especially as sensitive people. We're like, how do we get balanced? But it's always balancing. It's always working in and out of balance, balancing. It's never just you're balanced and that's it. You always have to work with your body, work with your mind. But let's release that leg and go ahead and shake out the standing leg for a moment. And then we'll do the second side. So balancing now on the left foot, making that little kickstand with the right, or placing the foot on the calf, or lifting it all the way up to the inner thigh. So your choice. Find something to focus your gaze on. In yoga, we call that our drishti. And then you could have any arm variation. You could do the same thing we did before with the hands on the hips, which feels very stable to me. You could also choose to open your palms, or even take the arms up this time if you like. Definitely keep the eyes open. We really use our sight for balance. And if you want to test that, you could close the eyes and see.
And then feeling or visualizing, if you're a more visual person, those tree roots coming down from your foot all the way through the earth to the core of the earth. So we can ground through visualization as well, just energetic. If you sense energy, you can ground through just energetics. When you're ready, arms will release if they lifted. Try to move slowly as you step that lifted leg up and shake out the other leg. And then from here, we're going to come onto our backs. So you can come back onto your back. And take your time as you lower down. I like to lower slowly. Let's be gentle. You can pull your knees into your chest again. And then we'll take figure 4. So you're going to bring your left ankle just below your right knee or above, depending on how you look at it. And you could, if you're feeling tighter in your hips, you could leave that bottom of the right foot on the mat. So you lift the left leg up, take the left ankle and place it on top of the right thigh. If you want to go deeper, you can lift the right leg up and you could clasp your hands. So the left arm would come in between the legs. You could clasp your hands around the right thigh, or you could reach to the right shin. So the right shin is going to be the deepest. The foot on the mat is going to be the most gentle. Deeper is not better, more is not better. We know this, but sometimes we push ourselves when we don't need to. So listen to your body with which variation feels right to you. And then flex your left foot. So your left ankle is active and you could almost press, feel like you could press your left ankle into your right leg, and that might help you with getting a little deeper if you need a little more depth. So feel again your body on the earth. So we're back onto our backs with our back of our head on the earth, your upper body, hips. And then we'll go ahead and switch legs. So if the leg's up, you can place the right foot back down, place the left foot back down. And right ankle will lift up to the left, just below the left knee. You can stay or lift the legs up. You can clasp the hands around the left thigh or all the way up to the left shin. Flex the the right foot. Press the right leg into the left and feel like, so you're wanting that right leg to kind of move away from you as you draw the left leg in closer. So feeling that oppositional force. And again, feeling your connection to the ground as you breathe. I know it sounds simple, but breathing and feeling your body on the earth at the same time is one of the best things that you can do for your system. And it isn't always easy. We get distracted. It doesn't always feel comfortable to feel the body. Sometimes we feel uncomfortable and the last thing we want to do is feel the body. So it's simple, but not easy. And so you practice. And you just do your best. And you try to be kind to yourself, not expecting too much of yourself or trying to be perfect, but being really supportive. I often find that highly sensitive people are kind of our own worst critics. But one thing that's really encouraging is that we are amazingly supportive and compassionate to other people. So we know how to do it. So we don't need to learn how to do it to ourselves. We just need to start, because we know how to be so compassionate, empathetic, and loving. We just need to start applying that great gift that we have to ourselves, and trusting and knowing we deserve it. And release the legs. We'll draw the knees into the chest one more time. And then if there's any last movements that you'd like to do before your relaxation, you can take them now. If you are new to yoga, then maybe you'll just straighten out your legs. If you've practiced a lot and you have a certain pose that you want to do, you can do that now. But for the most part, when you're ready, we'll just straighten out the legs. And if you have a blanket or another layer or socks or a pillow or an eye pillow, or really anything that helps you be really comfortable, you can grab that now, but take your time. So as we move slowly, we train our bodies and our nervous systems that it's okay, we're safe, we can move at our own pace. When we move quickly, we're kind of telling our bodies that something might be off, we're in a rush. So take your time. And then once you're complete with any other poses you've chosen, coming onto your back again, and we'll do a body scan. So starting at the heels, feel the heels connected to the ground below you. Feel them relax and feel like there's roots all the way down from your heels through the layers of the earth to the core of the earth. Moving up to your calves, feeling your calves connected to your mat, resting at ease, connecting all the way down to the core of the earth. Feeling the thighs, the backs of the thighs, and the glutes. Connecting on the mat, heavy, supported, held. And drawing down, down, down to the core of the earth. Feeling the back, where you feel the back resting on the mat. So maybe middle back and upper back. Feeling connected, down, down, down. Heavy and supported on the earth. Connecting with the shoulders and the upper arms. Relaxed, heavy and held. Reaching down to the core of the earth. You feel your forearms now. Maybe your wrists resting on the mat. Maybe they're lifted. Connecting down, down, down. Heavy and held. And then to the backs of the hands. Feeling the backs of the hands. Connected to the earth. Supported. Loved. Reaching all the way down to the core of the earth. Moving up into the back of the head. Feel the back of the head resting. Supported, at ease. Connected down to the core of the earth.
And then bring your attention to your tailbone. So energetically grounding through your tailbone is really the best place to ground through. So we've grounded all around the body, now moving to the tailbone. You can visualize even more roots of your tree, or just energetically feel the energy going straight down to the earth. And if your mind is still a little busy, you could ground your mind. So you could put your attention on your mind and feel the energy grounding all the way down. Maybe that tree root or multiple roots grounding your mind. And then seeing if you can feel the whole body resting here on the mat. Nothing left to do but just relax and rest. Shavasana. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Take a moment to bring your attention back to your breath. And notice how you feel. So we started in this pose and we're ending here in this pose. And what feels different? And can you really appreciate and thank yourself for taking the time to ground into your body, to connect, to practice your yoga?
allowing yourself to be in the present moment. And I'll give you the choice. You can either choose to stay resting where you are. You could rest for as long as you have time in your schedule. If you feel really comfortable and you do have time, I'd encourage you to just stay here. I always would love to offer hour-long shavasana, but it's not always possible. So you could rest here. But if you'd like to start to move, you could begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe drawing the knees into the chest. Giving your knees a little squeeze. Taking your time. Seeing if you can keep the benefits of your practice with you longer by moving slowly. Moving mindfully. And then if you would like to, you can come to a seated position. Again, taking your time, you might roll over and press up. And you can sit up tall and close your eyes again if that feels comfortable. And I'll read just a little quote from my book, Empowering the Sensitive Soul. Your body is always present. It always shows up for the moment. So we can learn to bring the mind into the present moment by focusing on the body. You can bring your palms together at your heart. Bow your chin to your chest. Appreciate yourself once more and reconnect with your intention if you set one earlier. And maybe even set an intention for the rest of your day, for the rest of your week, for how you can take care of your lovely, sensitive body and mind. It's been an honor and a pleasure to guide you through your practice. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, you're welcome to leave some in the chat, or if you'd like to have a word, you could unmute and say something. Totally up to you. But I really appreciated you coming. We do have class scheduled already. Our next yoga class is going to be in about a month. It's April 11th, I believe. That's also a Monday at the same time. And I do have a free gift for you for coming to class, but it's also in the link. So anybody could, if you're watching this on the replay, it's a digital copy of my book. And so to get that, you go to my website, Christie Rosen, ChristieRosen.com/free book. So you can check that out there. Angela said, thank you, Christie. It was beautiful. Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, thank you. Wonderful. And Tom says, thank you so much. I needed this more than I knew. Oh, I'm really glad that was helpful for you. I appreciate that. So take really good care of yourselves for the rest of the day. I always say, drink lots of water. Water is so good for us, and good to drink water after you eat. I know it was pretty gentle with our movement, but anytime you move, it's great to have water. Oh, thanks, Angela. She said you sing like an angel. Oh, so sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. This was totally my pleasure. Oh, Kristen Cole, she says, much gratitude to you, Christie. I appreciate your gentle, soothing practice and love your beautiful singing voice. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Well, yes, take good care of yourselves. And I'm in the community if you want to reach out anytime. Yeah, and I hope you all have a beautiful day. I'm going to turn the recording off here. Let's see.